handle it once. And I wish Ken was here to talk about this because he is, the first line here is stolen directly from him. And he asks himself every question. He had this question on his whiteboard from the day he started investing in storage with me. He might still have it there. He might have graduated from it. But for the first year or two, the big question on his whiteboard was, how do I address this? This is any issue, challenge, task. Didn't even have to be a big task for Ken. If it's the tiniest thing, he's like, how do I never do this again? How do I address this in a way where I never have to handle it again? And that's a question that should be rolling around your head. I am as guilty, probably more guilty than just about everybody in this room of, it's just easier to do it myself. And I'll do it and not delegate it, not outsource it. I'm getting better at that through practice, and I'm encouraging you guys to do the same. Some examples are, and I've used this with ESS, when you start with their call center, in the beginning, you're still going to get a lot of questions about how to handle certain things. Anytime it's a question that might ever be asked again, I provide my response and then just say, please place a comment in the notes section to handle every future inquiry in this way. Does that mean you'll never get the question again? No, especially last year. As their quality improves again or they regain the quality that they once had, I think this is still a very effective strategy. I use the same thing with my third-party management company. I've only had one issue since they came on board. They haven't been on very long, where I had to proactively reach out and say, hey, this isn't good enough. Long story short, I got a 1-star review on Google, and it was from a customer who wrote a very lengthy issue. I actually called them directly, which is another, it's a key to success. I didn't include it in here, but that is, in the beginning, you should treat your customers in a way that is unsustainable at scale. And you have to be willing to stop treating them that way as you scale. If you're one of those people who once you do it and call a tenant or a customer about something, if you're now going to handle every issue by calling directly, do not do that. In the very beginning, when you're trying to take a facility that has all 0-star or 1-star reviews up to 5, then you need to put in that extra effort. You need to do that stuff. But in this case, she had written a long negative review, and I called her up and I said, listen, I'm so grateful that you put that review out there. I recently hired a new management company, and you know, there's still some growing pains, and the only way that I learn about the challenges, because I'm not really involved in the day-to-day more, is through honest feedback like yours, so thank you. How can I fix this? And we had a conversation. I said, listen, if I'm able to fix this for you, my request, invitation, and by no means do you have to do it, it is entirely up to you, and I will respect it either way. But if I can resolve this to your satisfaction today, I'd love for you to consider removing that review. Then I called Copper, and I said, hey, here's the deal. This isn't, well, we don't, as a policy, we don't waive late fees. I'm like, that's a great policy, but not for a customer who's been paying perfectly for 8 months, and during the transition to a new management company's auto pay didn't get put into the system and it fell through the cracks. Like, that is a concession we should make. They had also done some things where she wasn't allowed to make partial payments online or by phone, and she didn't want to pay the late fees, understandably so, because this was truly a mistake. She had a good track record. Every policy has exceptions. That's what I told Copper, and he said, I agree with you 100%. And in a very diplomatic but also firm way, I said, listen, not for nothing, but these are the phone calls that I hired you so that I'd never have to make again. And I just got off the phone with a customer while I'm supposed to be at Disneyland with my family. And he goes, you know, you're right. Was able to speak to how they would address it, and it's been good since. You know, that's been 6 or 8 weeks. So take that for what it's worth. You want to, whether... The 1-star removed? Yes. Thank you for closing that loop. She did later that day. We waived her late fees. She paid that day, and then the 1-star was removed. So we're back up to 4.7 total. Got, I think, one pretty bad review from a non-customer. That drives me bonkers.